Previously on. So we got our Forest of Doom. We should have menus. And we jump around and we shoot little orbs for whatever reason. Because if you see a knight with a sword in his hand, obviously he's shooting energy balls. Like, just makes sense. Obviously. So we got this going on. I don't know why the music's not playing. There's music. Cool, no music. All right. Obviously. And then we set that up. And those go way too fast. So first thing I'm going to do is adjust the speed of those, and then we'll get some enemies in here. So we got our new player. He's chilling over here. We decided, because we wanted to be silly, that 1500 was a great speed for blasts, but that was too much. So I'm just going to try this really quick, make sure that looks better, feels better. We'll get some bad guys going here. Choo. That almost times nicely with the little thing, yeah. Accurate-ish. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to make just a floating eyeball enemy. Because I don't think we got to talk about stacking sprites yet. So round about here, I'm just going to create a 2D sprite that's a circle. And it's already white. That's perfect. That's what we want. I'm going to add some stuff to this. So we'll do the rigid body, 2D. And I know it's a circle, but we're going to make it do more stuff. So we're going to freeze the rotation at least so it doesn't like go spinning all over the place. I'll give it a circle collider 2D, and that's the actual physicality of it. And then I'm going to give it a box collider 2D and adjust this a little bit. So I'm going to set this to isTrigger. I'll edit this collider so that we literally have him looking forward. Oh, and I lost it. There we go. Okay, so I've just got a little trigger on the front here, so he's going to be able to detect where things are at. So, should have been playing some Super Mario Brothers. I haven't got to play Wonder yet, but if you go back to this old Super Mario that we played for the retro stuff, we had Goombas and Koopas that would just go back and forth between objects, right? So we're going to make this guy basically a pit monster. So if he's got anything on either side of him, he's just going to bounce back and forth between them. So this little trigger is going to be for him to detect that, hey, there's a wall there, let me turn around and go the other way. And then the circle collider is his actual physicality. So we got that set up. Let me name him. We'll just call him Pit Monster. And then I'm going to make a prefab out of him, and then I'm going to start making some more stuff. So is there somewhere? There he is. All right. Now that I've made a prefab, I think we've covered this, but we'll just go over some basics again. Now it's blue instead of white. And so if I hit this little arrow next to it, I can go into prefab mode and make some edits to it that's going to change everything else that I create. So if I give this eyeball an iris and a pupil, then every time I drag this eyeball out, he's going to have that. So I've got the pit monster. I'm going to add more sprites. So 2D circle. Add this one here. We'll call this iris. If I can type in the right thing. Oh, it did. Weird. And we'll make it red, because red is the color of evil irises. And we'll put that at layer 1. And I'm going to pull the scale down here. If I lock this guy, and I just scale. There we go. Move that forward. I'm just making an eye, just a red eye. It can be anything you want. It can be Mike Wazowski's eye. He just lost it. We'll make another one. So we'll do another game object, 2D, sprite, circle. What? Hit the wrong button. It's cool. No, it's fine. It's fine. So, fun thing. I mean, I could easily just delete this and make a new one, but this sprite renderer, I can just grab where it says square here and just change this to be a circle. Yeah, I know, it's magic. It's magic. Yeah. I'll lock this. I'll pull this down to roundabout there-ish. And we'll make it black. And put it on layer 2, so it's above the other ones. Now we just programmer arted an eyeball. Yeah, so he's cool. He's going to hang out with us. He doesn't do anything right now. To make sure he does at least something, so I'm going to just collapse some of this other stuff I don't need. To make sure he does at least something, I'm going to add the epic fail onto him. So if my guy touches him, my player dies. Because if you touch a giant eyeball like the size of you, you would expect to be hurt a little bit. Maybe it's just me. Okay. And I'm going to give him a new script so he can move around. So we're going to call this new script, we'll just call it Pit Monster, because the idea is that he is in some sort of confined area, so he's going to go back and forth. I'm almost concerned that didn't take a while to compile the empty script. Like, Unity's in a good mood? What's happening? All right, so we got a Pit Monster, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set him up to just go back and forth. If he hits something, he'll turn around and go the other way. Remember with the Knight, we played with the sprite flip, so all we did was we just flipped the sprite. I want this whole guy to turn. So I'm going to do another way, which I told somebody else in the class. They were asking some questions. I'm just going to scale him. If you take anything in 2D and scale it by -1, it flips. You get a mirror image. So I'm just going to scale him instead of flipping the sprite, and we'll do that. So first thing I need to do is I need a public Boolean, and it's going to be go left, just so I can keep track of which way he's going. And by default, we'll make that true. Do another public float, very similar to what we had with our Knight, and it's going to be move speed. And I'll set that to like 2 for now. We want these guys to be a little slower than the Knight. We want to be able to hit them, smack them around. And then, do I even need that? I've got stuff in here I don't need. Yeah, we'll go with it. Just to keep track of something, I'm going to have a private float here because I don't need anyone else to change it on me. And this will be direction. I'm going to set that equal to a -1. So this one will be using, when we had the Knight, we just had him move along an axis because we had input. This guy's going to be moving on his own. So he's going to be going 1 or -1. He's just going back and forth. Go to move speed, and then I'm going to create a private vector3, if I can spell private. That this will be its starting scale. So whatever this guy's scaled to, we won't even set it equal to anything yet. So we just got a starting scale. On start, when the game starts, we'll figure out what this guy's scale is. So starting scale is going to be our local scale. So we're just saving that. So we know what's up. We know the size of our guy and where he started, just in case we decided we wanted a really tall oblong eyeball. We're not messing that up. So down in update, so if we're going left on our axes, that's negative. So we're going to check to see if we're going left, which we haven't done anything left yet. But if go left, then we'll do this. Else, we'll do another thing. Fill that in a minute, and then finally we'll just move. So transform, translate, very, very similar to what we did with the Knight, except we're just using our own local stuff instead of input. So this will be a new vector3. Gotta find where I'm at. Here we go. And then we're going to move along the direction of X, and then 0 and 0 on the Y and the Z. So we're just moving just back and forth. You want to instead make this guy go up and down, make him move on the Y instead of the X. And then we need to take all that times move speed and then times our magic, stop that, stop helping me so much, I don't need you right now. Time dot delta time. So that's going to clean things up if we had frame rate changes while we were moving. So we're moving along direction, which right now is set to -1. We haven't done anything else with the other stuff. So let me come down here and update, and I'm going to do a on trigger enter 2D, and this is, remember, we just have literally on our eye, we hit something, and then all we need to do is just change direction. We hit something, so turn around. Janet, yes, thank you. Did I tell you about my typing skills? It's a fun story. So go left is going to equal not go left. So we are literally just flipping whatever it was. If go left was true, now we're saying change it to false. If it was false, we're saying change it back to true. Yeah, so we got time. I'll detour. So in high school, I signed up to go to a nice private high school, like most of you probably did. This is like 1991. It's forever ago. And they said, hey, we've got a computer class. And I was like, fantastic. Sign me up for computer class. I'm so pumped. And I got there, and we had computers, but the class was actually typing. That's all we did was learn how to type, home row. I was so mad about it, I rebelled. I still don't type home row. I spent 7 years as a professional programmer doing this. Just stubborn because they bait and switched me, and they're like, it's a computer class. I'm like, no, dude, that's typing. So anyway, if you're stubborn like that can be where you end up. And then people make fun of you later in life for not knowing how to type properly. It's just terrible, just terrible. All right, so if we hit something, we're changing direction. So we're just changing this Boolean here from go left to not go left, which would be what, go right? Yeah, okay. So in my update, now I'm going to check for that. So if I'm supposed to be going left, I think then I want my direction to be, well, I could just do that. That'd be fun. To say negative direction, because it's 1 to a negative. Anyway, we'll just say it's a -1, right? And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my transform dot local scale equal to starting scale. So if I'm going left, I'm heading that way in unity. He's already heading left. Okay, he's heading that direction. So his starting scale is what we want. -1 on the axis, right? So if I move this guy right now on the X, on the negative, he's going left. So that all tracks. Okay. What if go left is false? Well, then direction's just going to be +1. And transform.local scale, we're going to flip. Oh. Not starting scale. We have to do a whole new one here. So it's going to be a vector 3. Where'd it go? New. Negative starting scale dot x, and then starting scale dot y, and starting scale dot z. All right, so I'm just flipping the x. I'm just inverting it. You guys got to look in the mirror. Okay, this is all fantastic. This code should work, but there's nothing in front of him right now. So he's basically the dumb Koopas that just jumped off a cliff. Remember those? Like, I could fight you, or if I stand here long enough, you'll kill yourself. Yeah, those were the easier Mario levels. So let's try this out. So we've got Pit Monster on him, and we've got Epic Fail. So if he hits us, we should be in trouble. He's moving. Oh, yeah, he hit the wall and started to move. All right, so we can just set up a pit for him. All right, so I'm going to come over here to my grid and go to my forest, pull up my tile layer. So 2D tile palette. Dock that there for now, and what's good? This guy right here, he's nice. All right, so I'm just going to draw this here. And then for fun, I'm going to draw this here, and we'll just watch. We will observe his movements. So he's got something on either side of him to keep him contained. Up here. Yep. He hits something, turns around. Guess what? We didn't check to see what. So he was like stopping at the coin and turning around right now. Which is fine. I just come here and get the coin. Oh, he killed me. But with the coin gone now, he should go all the way to the left. Cool. He does what he wants. Oh, it does. Yeah. Oops. Huh. We're going to call that feature and move on. Yeah. That's why it's an all-seeing eye. Know your lore. All right. So we got that guy done. He's cool. So now we've done all that. So we did this. We did enemy one. We've got the evil eye. He's going to do his thing. Yeah, I don't know how to fix the eye. Will the layers take fractional numbers, I wonder? Oh, that'd be so cool if it did. And we could break so many other things. Oh, so here's what I need to do is I need to, well, I'll worry about killing him later. Right now he kills us. That's nice. This slime, which was in our forest pack of stuff, we're going to bring him in. We'll make another copy of this enemy, but he's going to do more stuff than just be an evil eye. So same thing. I'm just going to come over here, and I can just make a copy of this pit monster by dragging him again into the prefabs folder. First, let me make sure that any changes that I've made on him are going to stick. So I've got him with him selected in my hierarchy. I can come over here to the inspector and say overrides, and I added scripts to him since the last time I saved him. So I'm just going to apply all, and now all of my pit monster prefabs are going to have those scripts on them all set up. All right, so I'm going to go to my prefabs folder. I'm going to drag him in again. I'm going to make an original prefab based on that. So right now he's like Pit Monster 1. And I'm going to call him Slime because I'm thinking ahead. And we'll just change him up. So I'm going to drag the slime in over here. Start him up there, see what happens. Yeah, he's gonna come straight at us. This might be bad. Let me pull the player back. Start over here. Give this guy some room. All right. So with my slime, he's got all the same stuff. We could have set them all up manually, but he's got all the same stuff on him. So I'm just gonna go again. He's a prefab. So I'm gonna hit the little arrow here, go into prefab mode. F to frame him, and I don't need the iris or the pupil. Just delete those. And I need a different graphic, so let me go find that. It's right here. So I'm going to save this as slime in my downloads, and then this is a separate sprite sheet for the slime going poof. Slime death. Is it though? Is it though? He looks kind of sus. We'll take him out. All right. Back here in sprites, I'll drag in my new sprites from my downloads folder. So I got the slime, drag him in, and slime death. And it did or it didn't. I guess it didn't. There we go. So we got slime and slime death. We got to set them up, same as we've done before. So I'm going to change this to multiple. That to 16. We come down here and we want no filter so it doesn't do any weird compression on it. We're going to change this to none on the compression and we'll apply all that. So now he's set to be multiples and we'll just go to the sprite editor. He's got a lot of space here. Slice and he's actually 32 instead of 16, but he'll work for what we want. So 32, grid by cell size. See, this is him just bopping along because someone took the time to figure out how a slime would move and animated that. It's a great world we live in. All right. I'm just going to drag him in by himself. So for the night, there was all kinds of stuff we wanted. We didn't want all of his clips at once. This is more like the stuff we were doing in Photoshop. Everything in that sprite sheet we want as one. So I'm just going to drag him in for now, like that, and then I'm going to make a new animation out of him. So this will just be my slime animation. And he's set up. And now I need to merge these guys together. So I'm going to slime here. And my sprite renderer, I'm going to change that from circle to slime. I should have a slime 0 here to start from. So he's cool, except he's hanging down there, and I don't need this anymore. And then the other thing he's going to need is that animator. So add the animator onto him. And we should have a controller here in animations. All right, slime 0. So I'm going to drag that over to be our controller. And then the only other thing wrong with this guy is his stuff is, oh, okay, let me just do that. So this is the current changed version, but if I go into prefab mode, here's the stuff I'd saved earlier. So before I even do that, with this selected, I can get rid of the tile palette for now. Thanks for hanging out. Go away. So I'm going to override all the changes we've got. Yes, we want to apply all that. Now when I go into prefab mode, here he is. So I just need to move the colliders around. The sprite is the root guy, right? That's Chuck Norris pushing the world down instead of doing push-ups. Doesn't work. So the slime is him, and so if I try to move that, I can't even do that. It's the root object. So I'll just move this circle collider up or down a little bit. So I'm just using the slider here next to it. Get it down to where that's close enough. And then the box collider the same way. We can manually move all those guys, or if I just grab these offsets and sizes here, so when I'm on the Y, I can just slide, click and drag. And so that's what he's going to do. So he's going to have his detection going this way, and then we've got some collision around there. So if my night guy jumps here, he's gonna get hurt before he actually hits the slime on the head. But that's frame 0, right? Because in other frames of this, he goes way taller. So I think this is a good setup for these colliders. All right, so we've got the slime, and he should at least move around and do his thing. I'm wondering what he's going to do with these slopes. Yep, that's fine. So we can move that, the box collider around to make it where he could, maybe go up the slopes, make him a little shorter, or maybe we like him like that. Right now it doesn't do anything. You can just shoot at him all day long. Oh, I think I made him mad. Yeah, the collider of the bullet is actually changing the trajectory, so now he's coming at me. He's still not tough enough, but he's trying. Yeah, it was probably making a move around. So we could check for tags on that, and we probably will. Let's set up. Well, let's just set up our bullets first. We'll set those up.
Can you make the circle collider change by the height of the object? Is that possible?
Like per frame, there might be a way to do it. I don't know it. Yeah, so that would be manually every frame of the animation trying to change the collider. That might be expensive. That might make Unity have to think too much. And it's like week 10 of the semester. Even Unity is like, don't make me think. So, all right, we got him set up. I'm gonna make so we could, and I've got this online. So we got him set up. I'll come back and do his death animation here in a minute. I could just take this simple script called bullet and put it on the bullet, and then the bullet says, hey, if I hit something called an enemy, kill it. But I don't want to do that. That's going to be like the bullet. would just make things delete immediately using this script, so I'm going to use this. So I've got an enemy death, and I'm going to go through this bit by bit. We need to, so we'll put an enemy death on all these guys. So for my slime monster, let me just make sure I've got everything saved. Cool, no overrides. We'll give him a new script. Enemy death. And I've still got plenty of time. This is all right. Okay, so again, I'm just going to delete these things I don't need up here. And for now, I don't even think I need this stuff. Yeah, just got it for now. So I need the classic on trigger, enter 2D. So it's on him, but he's got a trigger. That's fine. And so instead of collision, I like to call this other. You call it whatever you want. If the thing that just hit us, probably .gameObject.tag, yeah, cheat sheet, or just tag. Yeah, .gameObject.tag, just safer. Okay, .tag, not tage, equals, we're going to look for something called bullet. We haven't tagged anything yet, but we're planning ahead. So if that happened, then we'll delete that guy. Okay, that's enough silliness. I can't deal with it. I got to change it back. So if I'm going to rename this to other. The point being, you can call your stuff whatever. So other needs to be destroyed. The bullet just hit us. We don't want the bullet to keep flying for days through the level and just taking out every enemy, because then we're overpowered. So I'm going to destroy other. So the bullet's going to go away right away. And then we will destroy ourselves. We are just game object. Yep, that's it. So we're going to destroy other, destroy ourselves, or as we like to call, so that's on the slime, and all of this is useless unless I go to my prefab bullet and give him the tag bullet. So what am I using? Energy orb here. Right now he's untagged. I'm not using stuff that's already existing. I'm going to add a tag. We're going to make a new tag called bullet, of all things. Again, if I could spell or type. Okay, so energy orb is going to be tagged bullet. Now I should be able to delete the slime. Did it? Did I? I got rid of my eyeball, didn't I? I overwrote him. Oops. Because I didn't change that. So, slime has got this new thing on him, and I need to apply that to all. Let me go back to my prefab here, see what I messed up. Pit monster should still work. Weird.
You want to save that one as the fresh prefab, as the
Okay.
one and then change it to slime.
All right, we're gonna take this guy somewhere else. You just go up the hill and think about what you've done. Okay. We'll just call him slime, because we know what he is. And let me drag the pit monster out. Okay, yeah, so the eyeball should still work, but he needs our new enemy death script. Yeah, and so that first bullet, when it hits the guy, it does go away. What a nerf. I'm just like standing behind this, but I know I can shoot through. He is no longer playing. Okay, he made it down here. And the coin blocked him. That's fine. Again, we're going to call it a feature. All right. One last bit on the slime, because he's way cooler than we give him credit for it. So let me go back to my assets here, and in my sprites, I have my animations folder, and I've got my slime animations. Let me open this guy up.
I don't think he's too cool if he's afraid to touch.
Who knows? Who knows? Slime who's afraid of coin. Maybe the metal or something. I don't know. We can add lore later. Actually, the first thing I need to do, instead of that, I need to go and set up my sprite. So I just got super excited about the slime and made that all set up, and I didn't set my import settings for the slime death. So I'm going to just go do that. Same thing we did last time. So 16 per unit. Point here, it's 32 later in the sprite sheet, because I'm playing with those to make them sized right. And then no compression, apply, sprite editor, slice by cell size, 32. So he's going to go from this and just into nothing. All right, so that's set up. Okay, so let me just double check. Yes, I've got a bunch of separate sprites here. So back in my animations, back in my slime animation, I can make a new animation from here. So I could make it, oh, I've got to select it. Thanks, Unity, for being so cool, I guess. All right, with it selected and this drop down, I can create a new clip. And I like it in our animation folder. We'll call it slime death because it's the death of the slime. And all I got to do is go into my sprites folder and drag in all of these. I'm just going to grab them all this way just in case. Drag them in. They're fine. I'm going to set my samples to 12 like they were before. There were some questions about that. Someone found it on the Discord, and I've been using that knowledge. So if you don't have the samples exposed, it's here. There's a couple of sets of dots. Make sure it's the one under the X, and then show sample rate. Right now, this is what half of you saw. Show sample rate, it's back. I can change my frames per second there. So that should be all good. Now, in my animations folders, my original slime 0, right? He was set on entry to go to slime animation, and he's just been bobbing. He's been doing his thing properly. But I've got this other animation here that I want to trigger, which we're going to use an actual trigger. So I'm going to set a parameter, which is a trigger, to, what did I decide to call that? Got killed. Yeah, got unalived. Delete. So from animation, I'm going to make a transition to slime death. And with that transition selected, I'm going to pull out the exit time, set all this to like nothing. We just want it to happen really fast. And so it's going to go from this to this, and based on a condition that we just created called got killed. We've only got one condition in there. It's only got one value. So as soon as I hit plus, boom, we were set up. One more thing I want to do here is from slime death. I don't want to just keep looping that burst over and over again. So I'm going to transition from that to exit. And just set all this to like nothing. Right, so no fixed duration, no exit time. Solo and mute, I may only need one of those, but I'm just overkilling it here with checkboxes. So we should play the slime death once and go to exit. Save my level. But to make all that work, we just need a little bit more code in our enemy death code. So we're back, enemy death. All right. I need first an animator. Animator called animator, super creative. And then on void start, private, sure, why not? Animator, get component animator, yep, that all looks good. And then I'm going to do some checking in here. So if it was the bullet that hit us, Then, yeah, I'll destroy the bullet either way. Now, before we unalive that guy really quick, I want to do some checking. So I'm using the same script on the eyeball, and I'm using it on the slime. Right, so first, I want to check to see if I have an animator, because only the slime's got an animator. So if the animator is not equal to null, which meaning it exists, then we will do the animate stuff. And else, so if we don't have an animator on us, then we're just going to do that really quick. All right, we're the eyeball still. There's nothing to call to animate, so we're just going to unalive really quick and dip. If there is an animator, then I'm going to call it. All right, so animator, and I'm going to set the trigger. And what do we call that? Got killed? Make that as a string. There we go. Got killed with 2 L's. Okay, so I've got that. And then I still want to delete myself. And so I'm going to destroy game object, which again is shorthand for me. But I can comma and just give it some time. So like 0.5 seconds. So get a half second to play that burst animation, and then we're still going to delete ourselves. And I think that's it. Should work. Okay. So if I fire at him, blows up like a, I don't know what, some juicy fruit gummy thing. And this guy should just vanish. Come back over here so I can shoot you. There we go. And he disappears. He's just gone. Let's see if I can get this point real quick. Oh! All right, so that's 2. All right, so we got 2 enemies. If they've got a death animation, we'll play it. If not, we just unalive them right quick. Let's look at these. I think we did all this. All right, let's look at the rubric. So I want you to create an eyeball. Pick the color. Red just seemed evil to me, but whatever. If you hate blue eyes, make it blue. So make an eyeball prefab. It's going to have the pit monster script on it, which moves around back and forth. The enemy death script on it, so it knows it's been hit by a bullet. And then the epic fail, so it can hurt us. Enemy number 2, you'll create the slime. It'll move around, do its thing. It will unalive after it animates, and then again it can hurt us. I would like you to, using all of these knowledges bits that you've just gotten, make an enemy 3. Right, so I put a collider and a rigid body on the slime. So if you notice, he was like going up hills, down hills. He was moving one direction, but because of the rigid body and the colliders, he would climb some hills, go down hills, jump off cliffs, whatever. Maybe for enemy 3, we don't put a rigid body on him and we just say fly. So he just flies back and forth above us until he hits something or whatever, right? So you'll create a new enemy either out of stacked sprites like the eyeball or an actual sprite sheet. You'll create a new movement script for him. And then same stuff here. There's an enemy death script. Bonus points if it animates its death rather than just disappearing really quickly like the eyeball. And of course, all of them need to have the epic fail script on us so they can hurt us. So we're adding 3 enemies, getting them all set up so they can hurt us and we can hurt them, which is not what you expect to hear at Christian college, but it is what it is. That needs to say number 3 instead of 1. I'll fix that. Okay, and then extra credit opportunities. You've got the slime, and the slime gets close enough to us, and he starts shooting projectiles at us. Maybe he pulls guns. I don't know. Crossbow, slime with a crossbow, everyone's worst nightmare. So if you can get an enemy to attack, that's worth 5 or more bonus points. If you want to give me a boss battle at the end of one of your levels, that can be worth 10 or more bonus points. It's a larger creature. I can't just one-shot him, right? Give him some hit points, give him some values, 2 or more hits to kill the boss, and then again, extra credit if you upload that to WebGL. Why do I keep giving this as an assignment? Upload it to WebGL. I don't want you to know that. Because your final project needs to be uploaded to WebGL. So everyone's getting practice, hopefully. All right, so we got 60 points possible, or 75, 77 and a half and up if you want extra credit on this. So that's our assignment this week. This should finish out Forest of Doom. So work on this, have fun, hit us up on the Discord. Jared, if you are not equal to null, you're here? Sweet. Do we have a quiz? It's published? Okay, cool. So there's a quiz over what we just did. And there's closes at midnight. And there's this assignment, which I don't think I've set a due date on, but we'll say Monday night. We'll say Tuesday night, because we waited a little bit to get this started.
That's not good.
And then next week we'll meet, but next week, before everyone goes, meet in here on Tuesday as per the usual, and then we'll discuss the new state of affairs. Everyone meet here. I may send some of you away, but meet here to start with. I like to leave it scary and nebulous like that. Yeah. Now that I know how to destroy a game object with a delay, I'm going to try it out.
Yeah, he's just gonna send some of us to a